lean into that crap. I like that. And you're right, but basically it's trying to show that even though you're a millionaire, you can do it the right way. So you don't like my rants? I want to hear it. Let me hear.
You want to hear my rant of you?
No. So what's funny is, guys. So I guess you hit record. So what's funny is, guys. We come on here. We're talking about who we're going to have on guests. Somebody reached out. And we're going to have them on. Surprise. We'll announce it soon. And they made a comment like, we need a cage rant on that episode. So Andrew and I were talking about like my rant. And I thought it was good. I thought it set up the episode. But he's like, it's 10 minutes long, and it's the intro, and it's crazy, and it's a mess, and the whole episode. And then he starts and does this.
What do I do? I just don't. It doesn't make any sense to me because I think
I've told you about now. You were doing a great impersonation of me.
Larry King is one of my idols. You know this. Yeah. So I think my introductions of every show, but with guests, they're elegant. They build them up. They kind of contextualize the whole episode. Yours was really shocking, but people love it. This whole thing started with me telling Cage that everyone loves him.
That's
true. Very likable fella.
It's true.
Very recognizable too. Like people see you on the street, they don't know the celebrity you're with, but they're like, Cage.
That's me. Well, I am fat. I'm a larger than life fat guy, so it's very.
But I thought it was hilarious. Like when it was like, oh, we have Jeremy Padawer on for the third time ever, and I'll tell you, Jeremy, I love you. I love you because you call it how it is, and you never shit on anyone else's investments. You never shit on how someone else does business. Not, let's say, like, some other influencer. He never talks about crypto when it's up. But when it's down here, he is pissing in people's Cheerios.
Well, listen, first of all, it gets people listening. They want to hear what we're saying. We get them all. I feel bad. I mean, I thought it was a great episode. I love Jeremy, but yes, for 10 minutes, Jeremy just sat there and didn't get a word in. So I do apologize for that. But it's what I do.
Somehow it's the favorites. That's what the whole kind of crux of it was.
Yeah,
the episodes that I think kind of get derailed and go chaos. We get the most messages for like, that was awesome. That was my all-time favorite episode. I was cracking up walking my dog. I guess it works.
It's a little messy, but the point that I was trying to make there is, especially at a time where people are assessing the hobby, people are assessing their role in the hobby, people are assessing their longevity in the hobby, whether they're going to stay here. You have people who are collectors saying that they're collectors and they want the investors out. People who are investors saying, the hell with you. I want to make my money here. There's still money to be made, or I'm going to go make it somewhere else. The point I was trying to make is, there's a professional way of conducting yourself. And, I'll repeat it as many times as I can, right? What you eat don't make me shit. I know you hate that. It's a Jay-Z line.
New Yorkers always say that. New Yorkers always say, I never understood that line.
But because it is, like I said, it's a Jay-Z bar. But you don't understand it, right? So if you're there eating...
I recall Cage when I was in Vail with the Valuetainment guy, and he said that too.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, right? It's basically like do your own work, take your own tests. Don't worry about what's going on over there. Don't worry about what's going on over there. What's going on there. That person can succeed, fail on their own, and it's not going to impact you. You eat some crazy Mexican food today and drink the water and have some ice without the holes in it over there. It's not going to give me the Montezuma's revenge. You're the one who's going to be screwed. Although you probably.
Hey, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
One of your biggest pet peeves is when we do like kind of guest episodes or even one-on-ones and I like leave and I book it for like 3 minutes and come back, right? You're like I'm talking to nobody.
Sometimes, it's a nature break.
Exactly. So what would you do in this scenario where a team went into halftime? I'm doing my best show. I'm playing great. I'm hitting everything. I come back and I'm like, I'm slurring over my words, I sat down, but it looks like I'm falling over a few times.
Somebody gave you the brown bottle treatment. You know what that is? The little brown bottle that they give the boxers in the corner. The boxer's up, and then you want him to take a fall, but he won't take a fall. So they put a little roofie in his water. They brown bottle him, and then he's fighting basically blind, and he can't fight.
But it looks
it takes a dive.
What's in the brown bottle?
Whatever, something to put him to sleep. A little drug. Brown bottle. You know who they brown bottled? And he lasted the whole fight anyway. It's amazing how he lasted the whole fight. George Makem Diggs was brown bottled. And then, George Makem Diggs. You're looking that up? George Makem Diggs?
Diggs?
No, George Makem. like, sort of like almost like Mason Dixon line, but George Macon Diggs. He was brown bottled, man. And then Honey Roy Palmer came in and did the same thing for 10 men.
This isn't a real human. This is
ending. Honey Roy Palmer. He ended it against Minoso Torres.
What are you saying?
That was his last fight. Minoso Torres.
George Macon Diggs.
George Macon Diggs. Yeah. I mean, patriarch of Diggstown.
All right, so this is terrible. I don't know what you're saying.
It's a movie, pal. It's a boxing movie. It's a boxing with James Woods and Lou Gossett Jr. You've never seen Diggstown? You got to watch Diggstown. You're a boxer. It's a great boxing movie.
I've stopped having fun because I don't know what's going on.
All right. Well, later you have homework. You're a boxer now. You need to get into the boxing movie. You need to see Cinderella Man.
I don't even know what you're saying.
George
Macon Diggs. George Macon Diggs. George Macon Diggs. Is George doing something, or does George have 3 names? I don't know. I still don't know.
He does have 3 names.
Makes me wildly uncomfortable on the side.
Well, so to your point, I do not believe that the Kansas City Chiefs were drugged at halftime. That's where you're going with this. Because it's funny, right before they had that garbage throw that stayed in bounds and they didn't score at 21-10, right? Right before that. Just wait, right before that. No, wait. Yeah, I told you, Mahomes did it. I said on Collectible, he did a Chris Webber. He's called a timeout. He didn't have any. But right before that, they showed a stat. They called it the perfect half. So what you're saying is not an exaggeration. Right before that throw, he was 3 for 3, all 3 drives, touchdown drives. No penalties. They didn't even have a penalty called on them. No turnovers. And he was something like 15 of 17 at that point. And they were just destroying the Bengals. Destroying them. But
so you pass interference, 1 yard line, I think 11, 15 seconds, whatever left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 13. The magic number for the Chiefs.
Do you not QB sneak on first down?
No, you do not.
Just wait. And then you spike the ball on second down? That's the most obvious thing to do.
You throw it 3 times in the end zone. The Bengals would dare you to run there.
You don't run. I'm not saying you run.
You would love to have a quarterback sneak, and then he's stuck in the scrum in the pile, and you wind up with a Dak Prescott kind of like, oh shit, we thought we'd have 2 or 3 seconds left, and we run out of time, which they wound up running out of time anyway. You could run, but 13 seconds, you should get 3 shots at the end zone there. 3 shots at the end zone.
So anyway, they come out in the second half, Cage, and it looks like they're inept. And then the last drive, he doesn't even throw into the end zone, man. It makes no sense. I have no Mahomes cards. I have no stake in the game. Like, I really don't. And by the way, guys, I'm that guy that as soon as I got pissed off at the game, I bought a Joe Burrow card for no reason. And it ended up actually being my best buy ever. It was actually an incredible buy, Cage.
It was a great buy.
It was a great buy. I just learned how to PC. But dude, like, I don't know. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, we could talk about Joe Burrow. We could talk about the cards. We could definitely talk about that stuff. I have a play. I do want a quick shout out, right? So we're doing our Whatnot show. You're a little blurry. I don't know what happened. Maybe you breathed on the camera or something. But I don't know.
It's autofocus, Cage. It's autofocus.
For our YouTube people, like they'll watch it. They like to see your pretty face. I don't want it to be blurry for all the YouTube folks out there. So anyway, we did our Whatnot show. I finally had some props that lost. I can't predict injuries. CJ Uzama and Tyler Higbee and, a couple of other things didn't go my way. A couple of things did. A couple of the lock with Akers on the under and yards went my way. But we have fun doing that Whatnot show. It is a lot of fun. We're hoping to, hopefully announce soon. We're going to do an NBA show. We're still talking to Whatnot. You guys have been asking for it. We love that. We have 2 more shows. I'm going to do some box breaks for the next 2 weekends. We get the Pro Bowl, which I guess I can find some props for the Pro Bowl, but I have a soccer box I'm going to do a box break of. And then on the Super Bowl, we're going to have a special announcement. I mean, we'll throw it out there for you guys. We'll have some, you'll see it. We got 2 weeks so we can publicize. But one, I'm doing a box break of 2020 Select Football Hobby Box. And I'm going to sell packs. You guys open a pack, buy the pack. I'll open it. Whatever you get in there, you get, Herbert, Burrow, Silvers, Parallels, autographs. Plus the redemption, maybe you get a Mac Jones or a Trevor Lawrence or something in there also, or Jamar Chase if that's your thing. We'll see who it is, but
awesome QB class now shaped up in that box.
Yeah, and I mean it's basically because of the redemption you straddle the years, right? You got the Burrow and Herbert class, but you could also get a QB in that redemption from the current year. So it's kind of
The
fun.
XRC?
You know, to select, yeah, the XRC. So we'll see what happens, but that's fun. But also, we're going to be doing a giveaway with Whatnot on that Super Bowl show. We're going to be giving away. I know the card. I'll put some pictures up. I bought it today. I want to give a shout out to Silk Road Sports Cards, SRS Cards on Twitter, and he's got a podcast, the Caravan Hobby Podcast. Go ahead and take a listen. He had a Joe Burrow card, an SGC 10 Optic Hollow Burrow. That's right, guys. On Super Bowl Sunday, our Whatnot Morning Show, we are going to be giving away free to somebody who's on there. Got to be following us, so go follow us now and Whatnot if you don't follow us already. We're going to give away free.
Luca Nation, right, Cage?
Yep, Luca Nation. SGC 10 Joe Burrow Optic Hollow Rookie. Sick card. And Silk Road Sports, he was asking more for it than what the giveaway. Giveaway is supposed to be, a $500 giveaway. This card is more than that, especially after the win. And I reached out to him and, mentioned we were going to do it as a giveaway. We worked out a deal on it. And I told him I'd mention and thank him, for doing that. So go ahead and check it out. I listened to his most recent episode today. Go ahead and give him a follow on Twitter, and big thanks, because we're gonna have this awesome giveaway thanks to him. And somebody who's listening to somebody who's on Whatnot on Super Bowl Sunday is gonna win that for free. And that's a hell of a giveaway. We want to say thanks to Silk Road Sports Cards, and a huge thank you to Whatnot for letting us do this. It's exactly what Andrew talks about, right? We have to find ways to partner up with people who provide value for our community, for our listeners, for our Tigers, our NFT holders, you name it. And stuff like this is exactly that. We're able to come on here, talk, give you guys plays, hopefully provide value on the daily, but then these little extra bonus, cool things like this, where somebody's going to walk away with a pretty sweet Joe Burrow card on Super Bowl Sunday, worth a lot of money. And if he wins, worth even more. It's a pretty cool thing. So big thank you and shout out to the Whatnot guys. And again, to SRS Cards, Silk Road Sports.
It feels good. I gotta be honest. It's kind of become a little bit of our culture now to kind of pay it forward. And even our community, oftentimes when we give something away, someone else will say, I'll give something forward too. Like we had the giveaways for the slabs for the fantasy football, for example. Some people from the community were like, hey, I'll throw in a slab. I'm just grateful to be a part of what you guys are doing. Dude, the giving part of the hobby is the most fun. It really is the most fun. If you guys haven't seen Cardboard Chronicles, Josh had an awesome post today about a card. I think it was like a gold Anthony Simmons.
Anthony Hardaway.
Anthony Simmons.
Both the same way. I'm sure on purpose, but Anthony, yep.
He was trying to get a deal done like 3-4 years ago with a guy, and they didn't agree to something. And here we are 4 years later. He sent the card. I think it strained the relationship a little bit, and just the kindness and the giveaways, it's dope. So appreciate Whatnot. They were the ones that reached out to us, and it's what we talk about, right? We have an audience. They have the resources and the platform. When businesses work with, kind of creators, what do you want to call them? Whatever you want to call it, there's some opportunity to give back, man. And it feels good.
And we love to be able to do it. And hopefully, like we said with the dibs when we gave back, when we do one of these, we hope that we continue to do it. And by the way, if you don't know about a Whatnot show, you should get on there, especially if we do, an NBA.
Luca Nation, right on Whatnot.
Luca Nation, yep, Luca Nation. Yeah, you'll see it. It's the same, you'll see the logo. You guys know it's us.
But it's not Lucas Tigers Bronze. It's Luca Nation.
Luca Nation.
One word, I believe.
Yep. So we're on there. Take a listen. And we hope to the NBA ones. Basically everybody who won an auction from me this week, I threw in extras. It's great that you guys buy stuff. Everybody gets a bargain, like that PSA 10 and 9 Herbert lot last week that went for $21.
That was the first one. People weren't warmed up. Cage.
That's the deal. But I threw in extra, so it slabs. Yes, shoot.
What happened with the Lelands auction? 9 items unpaid. The LeBron Gold Prism tribute, I think it sold for $300,000. So that one overperformed. Mm-hmm. The Jordan card, the exquisite Jordan jersey number, ended at $150,000. So not way off where it was appraised at. Any thoughts on it? Any thoughts about if you were running an auction house, what you would do?
Sure.
The same, what you would do different?
Sure. And it's not just going to be limited to auction house, right? We had Jordan Gilroy on. I don't, right? Was that his name? Jordan Gilroy from
You
Lelands?
got it 100% right.
Nice.
100%.
Okay. I know you. Sometimes you look at me with those eyes, and I don't know whether I'm supposed to rip your clothes off or you're trying to tell me I did something wrong. I never know which eyes you're giving me. This one I was kind of torn between the two.
I'm
It's
hooked.
lucky we're not.
I'm like a fish. I'm
It's
hooked,
lucky we're
and
not
I'm
in the
really
same room.
curious. It is actually lucky. We've never been seen in the same room, cardboard and stuff.
No, so we had him on, but I'm kind of on Instagram. I watch.
I have a
stuff that goes
theory
on.
who Cosimo is in the NFT world, by the way.
God.
You probably will never see him and Gary Vee in the same room.
Oh, interesting. So in any event, here's the deal, right? So you would think he would do more of a Russian, or Ukrainian or whatever, I don't know, kind of name rather than like an Italian. Medici's an Italian family. Gary's not Italian, right? Anyway,
Sure.
so point being, right? Maybe he's throwing you off the scent. So I didn't see a lot of press, right? And the whole thing, let's just call it out, right? This was supposed to be a live thing. We talked to J23, right? JB23, JB23, Jay, and he wanted to do this. He wanted to do it live. It was going to be a live event, Mint Collective. It was going to be a cool thing. I've talked about it with him, and basically was like, you never know. Somebody might, hit a big winner that day, sport event, whatever it is, and boom, I'm buying that Michael Jordan, but it didn't go down. It didn't go down like that. It didn't have the joint promotion, let's say, of, a live event with Collectible there and the auction going live. Collectible promoted it. Collectible did their thing. But here's what I learned from this, right? I love the Lelands guy. I thank him for coming on, Jordan. I love Lelands Auction House. What you learn from these things happening, whether it's that auction or any other one, it's we are in the age of social selling. That's it. There is your answer. And it doesn't just mean auction houses. If you have a business now, especially in our hobby or in anything like our hobby, right, you are asking people to spend their money with you, right? And with Instagram and all this stuff, Andrew will tell you, at the beginning of this, before we started to take off, I'm not going to say my ugly mug is the reason we took off. But I was like, I don't want to go on YouTube. I don't want my face out there. I don't want people know what I look like. Let's just be audio. And we put our face out there, and all of a sudden, baboosh, right? It must be all these ladies who see me, and they're all excited. But it's
You're so charismatic, and you own a Chansey?
The Chansey's the kid. But to bring it back home to its point, right? People want to know who they're doing business with, right? Whether it's you can only get away with being an anon in the NFT world as long as until you can't, right? Same thing here, right? I don't want to say influencer, not. What makes Chris and Josh, the crossover, and their business such a success is you get to see them. You see their reactions. You see them drinking their seltzer, and Chris with the backgrounds and his Christian McCaffrey cards, and you feel like you know them. You have almost a more personal connection with them. And because of that, there's a trust built up there. They're there. They're there every Friday. They're there every auction. They're there. You talk to them. They'll respond to you in the messages. Jeff Wilson, sports card investor, right? You see his videos. He's got the hello. He's there. You feel like you can do business with him. You can listen to what he's saying because he's not going to drop this video and then disappear. He'll be back tomorrow or the next day with another video. He's going to be there.
Even though he's polarizing too, right?
I mean,
at the risk of being polarizing.
Sure.
I'll tell you guys, when I first started my business, 24, 25 years old, I wanted to get mentorship. How do you get noticed? That's the hardest thing, right? It's not necessarily your product. Yeah, you have to have a good product. And they had amazing cards and amazing experiences in the auction. But the other thing is, how do people find out about you? And the advice was to go to the Chamber of Commerce, right? To present your business in front of the Chamber of Commerce. And it's funny, like, do you know what that is?
Yeah, of course. We have one in my town.
Every town has it. It's like, hey, town, like, I'm a business owner in this community. This is what I'm about. This is what I stand for. And you do it every week. And over time, you build up your business. Now it's actually kind of easier. And I agree 100%. Social selling, you could do it through this thing.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, the model, and I don't care, we've gotten some of the best feedback of any episode we got when we had Peter on from SGC. right? People like to have that personal connection with a brand, right? They want to know who it is that they're handing over their assets to, who it is that they're handing over their money to, who it is that they're trusting with their assets. They want to see them grinding. They want to see them answering their questions. They want to see that they care about the same things that they care about, right? That's what the model for this is Ken Golden. His lives are amazing. He's out there hustling, and he has become the face of auctions, for lack of a better way of saying it, right? And listen, Ken's been in this hobby for a long damn time. But I'm telling you, you go back a couple of years, you know how people talk about like BGS versus PSA? PSA only got huge in the last couple of years. It is literally the same thing with Ken. Ken was not the major.
Who was the other auction?
Well, first of all, there weren't that many people doing this. PWCC has been huge for a long time on eBay, not with their own platform. Heritage is a big auction house. They've been around for a long time. Robert Edward is still big. They were a big auction house. But Ken was small. I have golden auction books from 2018. Books. They're like that thick. Whereas Heritage, I go take it out. They're this thick. They're like phone books. You know what I mean? And Ken has built up that brand because he tapped into what it is that's fueling this hobby, right? These cards, these little slabs that we stack, they're flexes, they're show off, they're social, we're building a community, right? And Ken came right into the community, right into Instagram with his face, right? And is out there. Here's what I got. Look at Cooper Cup sweaty stains. Look at this. You know what I mean? Like his own stuff, And you ask questions. He's talking to the consigners. And I'm sure the other auction houses talk to the consigners. And I'm sure they also cultivate business for buyers. But there's one additional step, right? We talk about the pyramid of the hobby, right? And that new blood that person who's in there, right? Some of those mid 25 auctions, they're not like entry level stuff. But I mean, we talked with Lelands maybe a week or two before. Maybe they could have had hey, have you ever bid with Lelands before? Maybe you haven't heard of us, or maybe you have, but you haven't bid in a while. Let's make sure you're signed up. If anybody has any questions about getting in and getting your password going again and blah, 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 come on over. Here's the message. Send us a message to our customer service, and if anybody has any questions as the thing's going on, here's the number, here's the this. And by the way, I'm the guy. I'm the person you'll be speaking to. I don't want to say this, but I'm the Ken Golden of Mint 25, and it doesn't make a difference what business you are, right? If you're a card grader, I mean, we said there was like 17 or 18. I don't know how many of them left. But if you're a grading company, get out there. You know what I mean? Get on social. Talk. One of the coolest things I'm seeing, I happen to just stop into their store. Wow. The LCS in New Jersey. Card Porn has posted him a couple times. What's his name? Crazy Albert.
That was the store you were talking.
That was the store I went to. Yeah,
one
was
3 stores. One was barely surviving, and the other one was,
this is what a store should be like, right? And they treated Ian right, and Ian had a table to open and break. And I'm like, maybe I'll buy him more. He's sitting here having fun. Those guys,
it was like live. A little arcade. It was an experience.
Yeah, and they're live. They're doing their stuff, and they're out there posting. And this is, I believe, this version of what we're doing, right? It's why the more charismatic personality breakers will also win the day. You know what I mean? It's the same type of thing. So
how would you do that though? New York Cities are so interesting, right? Like New York needs an LCS, and it has Bleecker, and Bleeker's doing his thing. But Bleecker is more of like an event, right?
Yep. Social club, card store, lots of stuff. Yep.
A lounge, right? A men's lounge. Let's smoke some stogies with John Starks, Hootie, and the squad, and it's going to be a time of our lives. But you don't have, room to put a pinball machine or, a little, what are those called? Like a little air hockey table and a breaking station. Because New York, you're paying for every dollar. It's expensive. What would an LCS look like? Because I agree with you, man. Like, I'm thinking like pinball or foosball, how experiential that would be in an LCS, or some games that you could do with cards. What would be an LCS, and how would it work in New York City? Like pure LCS.
Yeah, I mean, well, listen, there's a reason why there's only one right now, and it's not exactly a pure LCS, but the ones that I was in when cards were booming last time were cramped, small. They took every ounce, every inch of space. They had comics across all the walls. They had things like piled up on shelves, above shelves, things hanging from the ceiling because, you're paying by the square foot. You know what I mean? walls of wax, a couple of showcases, not too many like dollar boxes, because it doesn't make a difference if you sell all of it. It's not going to pay for the square foot of it of where it is. You know what I mean? So there's definitely some differences in the city.
I
For what
think
you're
with
gonna have.
NFTs, you're going to have more members kind of not only, but member lounges where you get an
Yeah.
allocation of something every month, but you prepay because for a business that when you have you have the guaranteed revenue, you
Mm-hmm.
could go and get way more allocation, right? Like allocation products a big deal because they're waiting for the money to go in, get revenue in, and then so like
Allocation is a dirty
NFTs,
word, according to some people, right? Allocation is a dirty word.
so like people hear NFTs, but I'm really excited for the second wave of NFTs where they're like in real life membership passes to use, for Cage, unlimited soda and Chick-fil-A for a year if you
Oh
want
my
to try.
god, I'm in.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude. I'm already trying to get the Taco Bell pass. 30 tacos, 30 days, $10. Let's go. I'm gonna eat nothing but Taco Bell for a month. I'm gonna have to. That $10 is gonna. I'm gonna have to replace my toilet. So we move along.
In
Right?
real life, Happy Meals? No, Happy Meal NFTs. How would that work? That would be kind of cool. Remember Happy Meals were a huge thing, Cage?
Yeah, I still get them. Kids love them. You get a little toy, little
Yeah.
tiny little fries, little
But
nuggets.
like the toys were like sought after. They were collectibles for a minute.
Beanie Babies.
Be-
They had
be-
Beanie Babies.
All right. So next thing, next topic of the agenda, then I'll popcorn to you guys.
Yeah.
StarStock. What we're hearing is your cards are there. They're safe. If you want them shipped home, they will do that. That's what we're hearing. We don't have very much more information. At least I don't. Cage might. On a second topic, there's a lot of good people there. We knew a lot of the employees there. So if you guys are one of those employees, or you know someone there, and you're kind of looking to stay in the hobby, get employment in the hobby, I'm not making any promises, but we've been fortunate enough to build a network of partners, friends, and all that stuff. Reach out to me. I'm happy to, whether it's do a call or kind of refer your information or forward your email along. More than happy to do that. So if you were one of the people at StarStock, you're looking to get a job in the hobby, stay in the hobby, I'll do everything I can to help. It's I am Andrew Goldberg at gmail.com. I am Andrew Goldberg at gmail.com. And if you know someone you want to pass the info on, easy, do it, or DM me on Instagram. Very
Guys,
easy.
that's IAM Andrew Goldberg. Like IAM, the word I am Andrew Goldberg. Because there are some old people like me that hear I am and they think of like instant messenger, like the old AOL, and they'll just write I am Andrew Goldberg. People have messaged me that I can't get in touch with Andrew. He gave us a bad email address. I'm like, no, you have to add an A in there. It's IAM. I am.
All right, what topic do you have?
Whatever you say I am. And if I wasn't, then why would I say I am?
In the
Radio won't even play my jam. You know what that is?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I'll let you get away with not knowing Diggstown, but that, come on now.
Marshall Matters. I think that's Marshall Matters. I'm just Marshall Matters.
Boom.
Just a regular guy who don't give a fuck about.
Oh, hey now. What are you doing over there? So listen, we're at the football.
So it's poisoning our kids' minds.
That's what it is.
And now they see how they grow up listening to that shit. I'm crazy. I wake up and I want to fight my best friend at boxing. Thank you, Shindy.
I'm sure that's why. And plus, your best friend's going to whoop you. That's the problem. You're going in, you're all angry, you're clouded.
He's like a hare. He's quick. He's quick, man. He's like a hare. He doesn't get tired.
He's a hare. He's the opposite of a hare.
A tortoise and a hare.
No, he's hairless. So, here we go.
Tell me.
We got one game. Let's talk about the other game. Are you a Matthew Stafford buyer? I saw somebody message today. They said, "Hey,
I'm a Garoppolo seller."
Sell for what?
I'm shorting the Garoppolo market.
Well, so here's my question. I saw somebody post, "Hey, how come Joe Burrow's cards are going up, but Matthew Stafford's aren't?"
Stafford sucks.
And I think it might have been Ziggy who actually. I read a comment from Ziggy might have actually wrote like
threw the ball to the 49er defender.
No, because Stafford, he's already basically done. His career is over. Like, there's no chance for him to turn into a Brady-like type of player where Burrow could, right? So, I mean, that's kind of the deal there. Are you a Cooper Kupp buyer? I mean, that was one of the things I was asking.
Did you see his story? That was pretty cool. I saw that, his girlfriend in college, I think in Seattle, like she worked fast food, I think it was, and she was like, "Yo, I got us. I'll pay for everything. Just go train." Like that's a ride or die. I love stories like that. I love like the week before Super Bowl, you hear like these stories about we never knew anything, about his girlfriend. Matt Cooper Cup buyer? No, I mean I don't know wide receiver market, and I think people are buying Joey Burrow because it's like, dude, he's like the hot thing. It's like he's the hero. Patrick Mahomes is the villain. It's WWE.
For now, come on, what was it? 1988, the Bengals, the last time they were Super Bowl. That's a long time.
He won. He won his freedom. He won the audience. He won the arena.
Listen, I mean, it's good. It's good.
It's good.
Did you want to see Mahomes and Brady again? It's good to have another matchup with some new folks in there, and maybe young gun, maybe winning his first Super Bowl. I mean, either way, these quarterbacks are going to be. Either way, in 2 weeks.
Garoppolo didn't throw past the first down marker on that drive.
I mean,
I always wonder, like, it's so fascinating to me.
Do you know anybody out there who may have predicted a plus 250 prop that both quarterbacks in that game would throw an interception? Plus 250.
You did talk about that, and I think it was a field goal game, right? The last 6 games were field goal games.
Field goal games. I said 3.5 is a huge number. You got to take the Niners because this is a field goal game. The Bengals keep it close. 7's too many. And
we did pick 6 that.
Yeah, there should have been a bunch of pick sixes. The Niners should have picked them off and ended the game too. But in any event, so lots of fun. I like it. But here's my take on this. And if you got a bag, I'm not saying this to get you nervous about it, right? There are a lot of people out there with bags. In 2 weeks from now, either Matthew Stafford or Joe Burrow will have as many Super Bowl wins as Patrick Mahomes. Just making sure. It's a fact. It's a fact. I'm not saying either one of them is as good of an investment. I'm not saying either one of them is as good as Patrick Mahomes. But what I am saying is that
pretty well, actually.
In 2 weeks, either Matthew Stafford or Joe Burrow will have as many Super Bowl championships as Doug Williams, Trent Dilfer.
Where are you going with this?
Joe Flacco, Patrick Mahomes.
Peter Piper, Joe Namath, Stevie Wonder.
Peter Piper? Stevie Wonder? Stevie Wonder didn't win a Super Bowl.
I hate this when ESPN is like, Joe Burrow is the first number 1 pick in his second year to lead his team to the Super Bowl. Like, I hate cherry-picked stats.
I get it. It's like Joel Embiid is the first player who's 7 foot 7.
Joe Namath, Joe Theismann, Joe Burrow. Remember that one, bro? Joe Montana. Joe Montana. Joe Theismann. Joe Burrow. Okay. All right. Let me ask you.
Living does not belong in that. Yeah, go ahead.
Living legends of their game, of their respected sport that are still playing, but are they're gonna go down as top 20, top 50, whatever. Like respectable players that are still playing that are
okay. LeBron, Messi, right? You want to go? Let's see. In football, Brady. I mean, he might be retired now, but Brady. These are like top 2, top 3. You want a top 10? We can really expand this, But
you're going exactly where I want you to go. Keep going with it. Expand it, but don't go crazy.
You want me to stay in like football, basketball? You want me to go baseball? I mean, there's not really a GOAT left in baseball, of all time. I mean, people are hoping Trout, Pujols,
But Trout, you can't put him there.
No, he's not. He's not there.
Yes.
That's
it. Really, Ronaldo. Nadal.
Yeah, I didn't say Ronaldo because Messi's still playing. I think Messi's better than Ronaldo, so I was just going to pick the one who's left. Tennis is really hard because you could say any of those 3 guys are in the top 10, but I wouldn't know which one to pick. I guess Nadal this week because he's at 21 and the rest of the other 2 are at 20. And
all those people are champions, and that's always separates.
Yes.
My play today is someone that I still think is in that elite, great, going to go down all-time category. Still playing, but he's missing a championship. And can he end up like a Charles Barkley? I'm not so sure that's a terrible comp, but he's still playing and can add to it. So imagine Charles Barkley. And it's Chris Paul. And I think he's very, very, very overlooked. I think the only one thing that you could say against Chris Paul's legacy is the fact that he doesn't have a championship. Mm-hmm. Everything else he checks off boxes: longevity, winner, top five greatest in his position. And he's playing better and better and better and better. And he still could add to that. That's my play today. I think Chris Paul in the next – I think he's got two ways to win. I think he's going to win short term, and I think he's going to win long term in sports cards investment-wise. Okay. I'm going to talk about his market more, Cage.
Uh-huh.
I think his market is super undervalued, like very undervalued.
I want him to win a championship, and then he's got to look into the camera and be like, I'm the real Chris Paul.
Let me show you his market because I don't know what that means. Oh,
I'm the real Chris Paul. The commercial. I'm the real
Look at
Chris
his
Paul.
market, Cage. Look at that.
What's the chart? What am I looking at? Index of what year to what
Chris
year,
Paul.
what month to what year? Chris Paul, overall his index over the last year. So, I mean, this chart looks like everyone else's cards except for John Morant. So, go back to the other chart. And it's exactly a nice little run-up, a pimple, and a slight – you take that, excise that, and you have a nice little straight line up. The only difference is there's no little scoop back up recently, like you've seen when you showed the jaw chart, right? And that's the only difference. So you had that big run up and down. You want to look at it more recently, you're going to see it. Yeah, well, that's the overall card market right now. What you're saying, I believe, is that like Ja,
40% down, Cage.
There should be
14,000 to 10,000.
Yeah, but almost everything modern-ish, currently playing-ish, is there because it's 40% down after going 200% or 300% up. If you expand that chart out one more year, you're going to see it's down like this, but it's because it had one of these right before that down. It's pulled back. It's not down beyond it's 40% down in a year, but it's up over 2 years. Right? Anyway, well, I guess what you're trying to say is that he should be bucking the trend. He should be bucking that trend. He shouldn't be what the general market looks like because he's performing. The team went to the finals. He's having a killer year this year. You think he's going to continue. You think he's going to get, going to be the 1 seed and have a great playoffs. And that, like Ja, like some of the other guys that are having good years, you should see one of these.
Well, let's talk about Ja. So for just in this example, I was pulling something out a second ago. The reason why Ja's cards have kind of gone against the market's dipping, and Ja's cards have seen the peak up recently, is because his performance has improved, more than expectations. And there's, now his future looks bright. How many championships can he win? Is this Grizz team next? All that stuff. Well, that same thing applies to Chris Paul. Chris Paul's playing near his best ball. 21 points a game, 13 assists per game, 6 rebounds. He's dominating. He's 38 years old. And who's more likely to win a championship, Ja or Chris Paul? Chris Paul. Ja's got time on his hands, right? He's got 10, 15 more years. Chris Paul's got 1, 2, 3. But the point is, there's a lot of similarities there in those two players. I think Ja, if he had Chris Paul's career, he'd be thrilled.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
He'd want to win more, but it's hard to win championships. It really is. If you look back, not a ton of players win championships.
That's right.
Just the way it is in the NBA. Bill Russell won 11 championships. During those years, there was a ton of Hall of Fame players that also played. They could have never won a championship because this guy his team was so good.
Yep.
Same with Jordan. Clyde Drexler, right? He was phenomenal.
On one. But Patrick Ewing is a great example. You know what I mean? In the East, always the second best team to the Bulls, and just never won one. You know what I mean?
Malone won one either. But the point is, this guy is a legend, but he still has it, and his team is in that position. And I think it's worthwhile to start buying him. I gave a Nadal play a little while ago, and we were talking, no one cares about tennis, all that stuff. But Nadal had already established his legacy, and he was still playing incredibly well. And what do you see? A legendary victory, literally. And now his cards are going nuts again. Same thing with Chris Paul. I think you want to get ahead of it because you win in 2 ways. Even if he doesn't buck the trend and win a championship this year, you're still holding an awesome asset. And if he does, forget about it.
I love it. I really do. I like it. It's modern. There's really low downside to Chris Paul. You've given him a couple times now. Anybody who's listened to this has to realize, obviously, Andrew really likes this play. Otherwise, he wouldn't be going back to the well. He clearly likes the Suns team.
I don't think I gave Chris Paul. I like the Suns team.
Booker. Yeah. We've definitely talked about Paul. But, it's fine. Do you have a specific card of his that you like?
Good
Or
question. So I'm going to chill on the cards because I'm going to talk about Paul a lot more as the season develops.
Okay.
I'll start doing more research on the specific cards and monitoring his market.
Okay, so we'll roll it over to me. I have a play for you guys, and this is a teaser for you guys. I said I was going to do this. We're going to figure out how we roll it out, but I want to do kind of like a series for you guys of blue chip cards that every portfolio should have to balance off your more speculative plays, whether it's an NFT play, whether it's a young prospect, a Bowman prospect, baseball prospect that you're going to gamble on but could go to nothing. You want to take a gamble on, opening up some sealed wax, and who knows if it works out for you, it doesn't work out for you. But what I want to do is, is give you some cards. I talked to Andrew about this. My portfolio is shaping up to be a lot of these, a lot less modern, a lot less risky stuff, a lot less shiny, which, some people say is less fun. It's definitely less risk, definitely less downside. When you have less downside, you also have less upside. But what you're going to see with these plays, I don't know, you want to call them a blue chip index, you want to call them my, Cages, bonds portfolio, dividends portfolio, whatever the heck you want to call it, right? Like your steady growth fund. We come up with a name for it, right? But they're not going to go 10x. But what's great about them is if you happen to invest in these cards, and maybe I'll do 10, maybe I'll do 20, maybe I'll do 50 of them, all right? There's enough out there. But if you happen to invest a same amount in this as you did in Luka Prism PSA 10, which is the joke, right? Let's just go back to 2020 when Luka's Prism was $2,000. And how much is it now? $400 or $500, right? Something like that.
400. It's crazy, man. It keeps going down.
So let's just say you didn't buy it at the high, the low, whatever. Let's say you lost $1,000 in your Luka Prism, right? Which shouldn't have been a high risk play. But anyway, it is what it is. Let's say your modern play was Luka, you lost $1,000 in it, right? If you would have paired that huge $1,500, $2,000 investment with one of my portfolio balancers, right? A little less fun, but still iconic, still a great player. You're going to see there's a lot of things that tie these things together, right? They're GOAT players. Doesn't necessarily have to be an old card. A lot of them will be, but they're going to span generations and decades. And there are ones that are pretty current as well. But let me give you one. And what's fun about this, I did the research. You can help me with this, card ladder if you want to pull up or whatever. I use the PWCC data on it. But we can do card ladder, it'll probably be fine. What's fun about this is I started doing research for this series, and maybe Andrew, we'll roll this out to our Tiger Fund. Maybe maybe I'll do like a little video, 5-minute segment, and it'll just be in the Discord for our Tiger holders, and then we'll publish it after. We'll figure out how we roll it out, guys. But I think this is very valuable kind of information for your portfolio diversification, right? But what I learned in doing this is I'm a snob on grades, right? I want to buy SGC gold label 10. I want to buy a PSA 10. Like my collection, I want to have PSA 10s. But you'll see that on these cards, you don't have to be buying a 10. As a matter of fact, some of them don't even have 10s, right? But on these cards, you can buy a lower grade, which is a better entry point. And sure, the higher grades move, but the lower grades move too. And sometimes they move at the same percentage. It's that whole rubber band effect where, if an 8 moves, a 7 moves, a 6 moves, they all kind of move, right? And by buying a lower grade, it's still an iconic card because these are all going to be iconic cards. It's still an iconic card. And it's still one where you pull it out, everybody's going to know what it is, right? And at a card level that I think is, it's accessible for people, especially if you're looking to balance out that Luka. So let's just say you have that Luka, you lost $1,000 on it. Okay, fine. If in early 2020, the same time you started with your investment in Luka, you purchased a PSA 3. PSA 3. I'm not saying 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1958 Topps Jim Brown. Okay, a Jim Brown rookie. I previously owned a PSA 8 of this, right? Sold it to Gary V. I wish I still had it, but I don't. But a PSA 3. If you purchased it early 2020, you go back to the sales, they were selling for $300 or $400. Okay, there are PWCC sales on this in the 3s. Okay, early 2020. Right, we're not going back that far. It's a 2-year chart, same as Luka's and the whole 9 yards. Right. If you move into late 2020, you'll see it moving up to about $800. the rest of the market was moving. That's maybe when Luka's hitting his shot and bubble and, Modern's moving. And at the time, maybe you're mad at yourself. And this is what I want to talk to you guys about, right? I want to talk to you guys about a wider view of these things. Do you see what you don't see in the Jim Brown chart right there? You don't see, look, nice little straight up. Get a little tiny one there. I don't know what year that is. I don't know. Is this a 3? Are you able to just do it or just say Jim Brown? This is his index.
This is his index.
Okay. So
what's the card?
1958 tops, and it's a PSA 3 is what I'm giving because I want to give the whole deal, right? At $800 or $900 in late 2020, you might be sitting there saying, "Oh wow, I should have been in Modern." And then in early 2021, when this is selling for $1,000 or $1,100, right? You might be saying, "Damn it, look at all the cards that are popping here." I mean, Luka's up and Modern is up. And it's $1,100, and in late 2021, it's up to $1,200, and then you see it in December sell for $1,300, right? Now, there are still some of these selling on eBay for the $1,200. What does Card Ladder give the PSA 3? Does it go like that?
This is
PSA 3,
400.
right? So they say, and they say 1215. Okay, so they're saying 1,000. So recent sale 1215. I saw 1225 on the 13th. I saw it 1250. There are none available right now to buy it now for less than $1,500 on eBay, but you can make an offer. But the point is, what you saw there is there were times where it went during that quarter, that early 2021. There were sales at $1,400 or $1,500. It didn't go to $2,000. There were sales at $1,400 or $1,500, and it kind of came down a little bit. Overall, it was $1,000, $1,100. The point is that if you lost $1,000 putting that money in Luka, well, guess what? Your Jim Brown went from $300 to $1,300. And you've now evened out your portfolio, your loss on your Luka with this card, or close to evened it out with a significantly less dollar investment. You were putting $300 into this card, whereas you were putting $1,500 into your Luka, right? Nice balancer. It's not winning any competitions. A PSA 3, people are PSA 3. But this card is one where all you do is go look the longest chart you want, the most widest view you have on this one. And what you're going to see is slow and steady appreciation. You got it right there, chart in front of you. Jim Brown, slow and steady. I don't think there's a 10 on this. If there is, it's a fantastic card. I didn't look it up because I just wanted to do a 3. The 4 has a similar trajectory. The 2 has a similar trajectory. The 5 does. Wherever you want to put your money in on these, depending on what you're putting in your portfolio, how much you want to offset Modern with it, how much you're investing, you can go up the ladder on these. But the point here is I can go through his stats. I think he only played 9 years. He was like Barry Sanders, left. He went and he pursued an acting career. Left at the top of his game. Some people do that, some people don't. But when he played for 9 years, I think they only played 14 games when he played, not 16, not 17. And he had in 9 seasons 12,000 rushing yards, and he led the league in 8 of 9 seasons. He led the league in rushing. 8 out of 9 seasons led the league in rushing. Durable, basically looked like a man-child out there. You're talking about Bo Jackson squared. Nobody could tackle him. He was amazing, clearly the best.
1958. That's great.
1958. But the thing is, right, so this is a guy who, whenever you talk about football, just as you talked about the GOATs in the game, the names, right, this is a GOAT of football. I love Barry Sanders. I love Emmitt Smith. This guy was the best running back to ever play the game, right? And unfortunately, he only played for 9 seasons. So, his stacking counting numbers.
Any of the technology, anything. I mean, did they even have Super Bowls 1958? Was that Super Bowl era?
There's been 54 Super Bowls, so you can go back to 54 Super Bowls. He was probably in what they call championship games, but not a Super Bowl. I think he played into the 60s, so I don't think he was in a Super Bowl. I think Super Bowl came after him. That said,
5 years old.
I think he won even in 9 years. I think he won multiple MVPs. I mean, I can go through his stats. That's not the point of this. The point of this is there are 20 cards that I already have started to list out that are the exact same thing. They're not as sexy. They're not as shiny. When you put this card in your Christmas tree of cards at the end of the year to post a picture of your collection, people message you and say, "Where's the silvers? Where's the golds? Where's the shiny?" No, that's just Andrew. He's messaging me. Where's the silver? No one wants your dull tree. This is a dull card. It's old. It's from 1958. It's 65 years old almost, right? But it is a perfect example of a card that is a slow and steady wins the race for you, right? We will come back to this episode in a year, and it will be higher. Will it be triple? not unless something crazy happens in the market and everything's flying, possible. Is it going to be less than what it is here? Probably not, because it's slightly down from a run up. Vintage ran a little bit too, but cards like this, especially PSA 3, they didn't go through that crazy spike. This might have seen a $1,400, and maybe somebody in eBay paid $1,500 or $1,600, and maybe they're down slightly, but that's just in the last 6 months or whatever it is. If they hold that card, it will eventually cross back over what they paid. And there's something to be said about those type of investments in your portfolio. Something that if you're willing to just set it and forget it, as my boy Ron Popeil says with his rotisserie chicken grill, set it and forget it. So if you're able to do that with a couple of cards, you can take some chances with your other ones, knowing that over time, the bottom line of your portfolio is going to grow, and maybe some of those chances pay off. And now you're hitting it on both ends. You're getting steady growth on this, and
you're protecting you. I like this. I like it. I've been thinking about, I've just been thinking about what vintage I could get into and learn about that's at an affordable price point.
Well, I mean, look, this is $1,200. It's not the cheapest thing anymore, but if 2 years ago you bought it at $300-$400, right? I still think $1,200 cheap. If $1,200 is too much, you can very easily drop down to PSA 2, and the 2 has the exact same type of chart. Sure, there's a slight up, and like anything, like the stock market, you can probably find, if you wanted to tell the story of the Luca Prism, you can find that point where it's 2000 and now, and make your chart just there and now. You can always find that, but you look out wider, you look at a wider view on something like this, which has a history, a 65-year history. This is one of those things that checks a lot of boxes, and just over time, it's not going to go down. That's the deal. I mean, you'll see people buying Cooper Kupp cards. You'll see people buying, running backs now. Everybody likes Jonathan Taylor, right? Everybody likes Derrick Henry. Well, eventually there'll come a point in time where people are spending more money for Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor than they offer Jim Brown, and that's not going to make sense, and the Jim Brown cards will catch up. It's kind of the way this stuff works.
I love it. Autos, you're not an auto guy. Any thoughts on it?
On who? Jim Brown's auto? I mean, look, he probably signed more autos than most, not on cards, because there just weren't auto cards then, but he probably signed, like you probably get, somebody gets him to sign a card. Not a lot of pack inserted autos. I mean, this guy was a legit, like, he was in a lot of movies. The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was in that. He was one of the I don't call it a bad guy, but one of the runners. He played Fireball. He had a jetpack and he flew. It's pretty cool. Fireball. But yeah, that's a cool card. I mean, that card is listen, I don't mind that. It's a lot of money, but I don't mind getting a 10 auto on an excellent 5.5 card. But keep in mind that 5.5 card now,
it's PSA 5, PSA 1.
Oh, I thought it said 5.5. Sorry, it's very small. So that's even better. That's even better, because the card's only worth a couple $100 without the auto. So that's an autograph that's enhancing the card. I mean, listen, guys, I'd love to spend more time on this, but I will do, episodes like this where we talk about Jim Brown. If you want to be crazy, man, just pull up Jim Brown, like Wikipedia, or Jim Brown, like, reference Jim Brown stats. You want to talk about somebody who had a peak, only played 9 years, but just dominated the game. Look at the stat lines that this guy put up. I mean, Derrick Henry is kind of putting up numbers like him now, with the multiple, 100-yard games in a row and touchdowns, just running over people. But Henry, he got hurt this year, but he did it for a year, 2 years. This guy legit did it his whole career. Led the league in rushing eight times in 9 seasons. It's pretty nuts. So
that's another episode. My computer's going to die. Perfect timing. Cage, you're a legend. Luca Nation, we love you. Any kind of, anything?
No, just your cleanup. Again, big thank you to Whatnot for our Sunday show. We do some box breaks. We got that giveaway, Joe Burrow. They came from SRS Cards. Take a listen to the Caravan Hobby podcast. That's his podcast. Thank you, SRS Cards. We appreciate you helping us get that awesome giveaway. Go ahead and follow us on Whatnot, guys, if you haven't already, because someone who's following us is going to win that. Burrow SGC 10 Optic Hollow. Chris Paul, man. Let's watch his stuff. Let's watch Chris Paul. Thanks, man.